or when you think about artificial intelligence and deep learning, you could think about the following taxonomy, for example. So you have this general idea or this general term of artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence is more like an umbrella term for a variety of different things, right? So artificial intelligence can be introduced or used in planning or to learn knowledge representations or reasoning. It doesn't really indicate that we are learning something. So even a rule-based system, like a massive amount of SQL queries, for example, could be perceived as artificially intelligent if you think about, for example, Turing tests. So this is more like an umbrella term for a lot of different branches that you see here. One subdiscipline of artificial intelligence is referred to as machine learning. So this is the topic that we see here. So in machine learning, we really want to learn from data. We will provide data and to the system, and we want to learn from this data, something, maybe a model, for example, or some type of decision boundary in order, for example, to classify a particular set of images into cats and dogs. And there are a variety of different approaches to machine learning. So we have a lot of probabilistic models, for example, if you think about naive Bayes classification, or prior to the deep learning hype, there was a lot of research conducted, and there's still a lot of research conducted on so-called kernel methods, like, for example, support vector machines, which are quite useful and very powerful as well, especially in supervised learning. And then there's one subdiscipline of machine learning, and this discipline is referred to as deep learning. And this deep learning idea is actually one of the key drivers nowadays of a lot of breakthroughs that we see in machine learning. It's a very interesting technique and was developed, I think, a couple of years ago. So, and this is really the main purpose of my talk today, of the presentation today. So let's briefly jump into specific more details about artificial intelligence and think about the birth of those different terms. So if you think about artificial intelligence, you might know that, I mean, it was first coined, or the term was first coined at a Dartmouth summer research project on artificial intelligence in 1956. And there the basic objective was to write a calculator program which can solve intellectual problems as well or better than a human being. So here the idea was really to write a program that can perform from an intellectual point of view very similar to a human being. So that was the birth term of artificial intelligence. If you think about machine learning, and when this term was coined, usually people refer to Arthur L. Samuel and his famous work at IBM, where he coined the term machine learning. And there the basic objective was to train a computer program so that it will learn to play a better game of checkers than can be played by the person who wrote the program. So here we see really this first time where the idea of training is mentioned, and that we are learning something from the data. And preferably, or ultimately, what we want to achieve, that after we have trained this computer program, we want to do better than maybe the capabilities of the person who initially wrote the program. So this is the main idea, or one of the main ideas of machine learning. So what's the difference now to deep learning? And if you go back to the very famous Nature paper of, for example, Jan LeCun, Jeffrey Hinton, and Joshua Benjo, where they coined the term deep learning, here the basic objective is to train computational models that learn representations of data at multiple levels of abstractions. So this is the main idea, basically, of deep learning. So instead of maybe engineering features, what we want to achieve is actually some kind of end-to-end learning process, where the machine learning process or the deep learning process really wants to learn end-to-end the feature extraction from the data, and at the same time also the task that it should accomplish, like, for example, image classification. And this is the main idea of deep learning.